David Grayson was the kind of man no one noticed. At Westfield Financial Group, he blended into the background, a mid-level accountant who came in early, left late, and never made waves. He wasn't the type to stand out in meetings. He didn't drink with the office crowd on Friday nights. He never talked about his personal life. And that was exactly how he wanted it. For 7 years, David sat in the same cubicle on the 5th floor of the firm's Manhattan headquarters, processing financial reports, approving wire transfers, and making sure the numbers were balanced. But deep down, something festered inside him, a growing resentment. He watched as senior executives drove luxury cars, vacationed in the Maldives, and bragged about their 6-figure bonuses. Meanwhile, he earned just enough to cover rent for his cramped apartment in Queens. The thought gnawed at him. One day, while processing vendor payments, David saw a tiny accounting discrepancy. A $1,750 payment mistakenly made twice. No one had noticed. A thought struck him. What if I did the same thing on purpose? That night, he sat in his dark apartment, staring at his laptop. His fingers hovered over the keyboard as he created a fake vendor account. A non-existent consulting firm named Grayson and Company. It took just 5 minutes to add it to the company's payment system. Then, his heart racing, he made a small $500 transfer to the fake account. He hit enter and leaned back in his chair, listening to his heartbeat. Would anyone notice? The next day, he checked the transaction logs. Nothing. No alerts. No emails. It had gone through just like any other routine payment. And in that moment, David Grayson became a thief. David refined his method over time. Never too much, never too fast. At first, he transferred $500 every few weeks. Then, he expanded to $1,000 every month. He used multiple fake vendors, each receiving small amounts, nothing that would set off alarms. To avoid detection, he ensured that no single account received too much money. All fake payments mimicked real vendor expenses, and transactions were made during peak business hours, so they blended in with the daily financial activity. He wasn't greedy. He was patient. Over the years, $10,000 turned into $100,000, then into $1 million. But David never changed his lifestyle. No flashy cars. No expensive vacations. He lived like a broke accountant, all while his secret offshore accounts grew fatter. He had studied fraud cases before. The ones who got caught always made the same mistakes. They got greedy and careless. Not me, David thought, but even the best criminals make mistakes. Michael Carter, a junior auditor, was not supposed to find anything. At 26 years old, Michael was new to the firm. His job was tedious, reviewing transactions, running compliance checks, and ensuring everything was by the book. But something caught his attention. Payment to Grayson and Company. The name sounded off. He checked the vendor list and found 3 more payments under different names, all with similar invoice descriptions. A gut feeling told him something wasn't right. He dug deeper, pulling records from the past 5 years. The more he looked, the worse it got. Hundreds of tiny payments are scattered across multiple fake vendor accounts. This was no accident. Someone was stealing money right under their noses. Michael hesitated. What if he was wrong? Accusing someone of fraud was serious. He needed proof. For the next 3 weeks, he worked in silence, collecting evidence. He analyzed IP addresses, transaction timestamps, and approval logs. Then he found the smoking gun. All the fake transactions were approved from the same employee ID. David Grayson. Michael reported his findings to his supervisor, who immediately escalated it to senior management. Within 48 hours, Westfield Financial launched a full-scale forensic audit. By the time David got wind of it, it was already too late. That afternoon, he logged into his work email and saw an urgent meeting request from the internal audit department. His hands went cold. They knew. He had one shot to escape. David calmly closed his laptop, walked to the break room, poured himself a cup of coffee, and took one last look at the office. Then he grabbed his coat and left. He never came back. David had planned for this moment. For the past 2 years, he had been preparing an exit strategy, transferring funds into crypto wallets, offshore bank accounts, and untraceable assets. His flight was booked under a fake name, private rental car waited for him 3 blocks away. Within 6 hours, he was on a plane to Buenos Aires, Argentina, a country known for its strict extradition laws. He had vanished. Westfield Financial called the FBI. Michael Carter, now deeply invested in the case, watched as agents combed through evidence, tracing the money trail. But David was smart. He erased digital footprints before disappearing. He used fake passports and burner phones. He withdrew small amounts of cash over months so it didn't raise suspicion. For 2 years, the case went cold. Then, an unexpected breakthrough. A mysterious deposit appeared in an offshore account linked to David. The FBI tracked the transaction to a luxury apartment in Buenos Aires. And that's when fate intervened. On March 12, 2019, an American tourist in Buenos Aires snapped a photo of a man who looked eerily familiar. He posted it online, joking that he had seen a fugitive accountant. Within hours, the FBI confirmed the identity. A SWAT team raided the apartment the next morning. David was caught sipping coffee at a cafe, reading a newspaper, as if nothing had happened. His luck had finally run out. Back in the US, David faced multiple charges: wire fraud, money laundering, and embezzlement. The trial was a media sensation. Prosecutors painted him as a cold, calculated thief. But David never showed remorse. "If they paid me what I was worth, none of this would have happened," he said in his final interview. He was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. David's case exposed serious loopholes in financial security. But the real question remains, how many others have done the same thing and never been caught?